What if Deku had the Omnitrix's power? Hey everyone, welcome back to Nothing But Anime. This is part 1 of the What If Deku Had the Omnitrix's Power series. If you're enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Now let's dive right in. Midoriya Household, Mizutofu Prefecture, Tokyo, Japan. Time, 6:25. The birds were out and people were waking up to start their day. But one certain individual is getting ready for what could be a strange day for him. This individual sits up his bed as he scans around it before looking down and stares at his left wrist. Now you might be thinking as to why this person is staring at his wrist. Well, this is not an ordinary person. Izuku Midoriya stares at his wrist, hoping that the thing from last night was not on his wrist and last night's events were just a weird dream. But we don't get everything we want, as the thing on his wrist is still stick on him and it appears that it'll stay there. Izuku looks at the strange watch as he currently thinks about his situation. Okay, so let's go through thing on what's happening so far. 1. I got a weird watch that came from outer space and it clamps up my wrist and won't come off. 2. All Might told me to go to UA after school to find out where this watch came and see if we can get it off of me and see what to do with it. 3. Mom's acting strange. Well, stranger cause when I came back home. She acted like she was hiding something or like she knew something. Man, what am I going to do? Thought Izuku as he gets up to start. Another horrible day of school. As he goes to take a bath, he stops as he realizes something. Is the watch waterproof? Well, the watch isn't coming off by his own ways, so maybe. Izuku knew that the only way that he has to take a shower to find out. Izuku took the leap and went to the shower, and to his surprise the watch appeared to take water well, and it appeared to work well after his shower. Izuku got dressed in his school uniform and went to the kitchen to grab something to eat before leave. On his way to the kitchen, Izuku saw his mom sitting on the table with a cup of coffee in her hands as she stares into nothing, and Izuku get worried as he's never seen his mom like this. Izuku slowly approaches the table to sit down in front for his mother, who still hasn't noticed him yet. Izuku just stares at her for a moment before the tension in the air was too much of him to handle. As the two sit in the living room either staring into nothing or trying to eat, thighs haven't changed as time progressed. Izuku, who finished his breakfast, had enough of seeing his mom in a state like this, snaps his fingers in front of her, which causes her to break out her state. Inko looks at her son, who had a concerned look on his face. Oh, hi honey. How are you? How long have you been there? Asked Inko as she saw the look on Izuku's face that told her that he was worried about her. Yeah, I'm fine. Mom, are you all right? You okay? You seem a bit off, said Izuku while looking at her with a face that's showing deep concern, but in his head he knew something was bothering her. Inko just smiles and waves her hands, trying to show that she was fine. Izuku felt like talking to her more, but he left it for now as he was going to run late. He took his bag and put on his shoes and was about to step out of the door when he heard his mom call out to him. Izuku, I want to talk to you about something important, said Inko with a serious expression on her face. Sorry mom, but I have to go to school now. I won't be back for a while because I have something to do after school, said Izuku while getting his bag. Oh, okay. But I still have to speak to you about something, Inko said with a worried expression on her face, which Izuku noticed. Okay, Izuku said as he took his bag and put it on his back. He then put his classic red high tops on and went to the door. He opened it but turns to his mom. Bye mom, see you later, he said and closes the door. Inko just stood there and sighed. She knew she couldn't dodge this. She went to the home phone and dials a number on it. She waits. The line rings until... Hello, Plumbers HQ Japan and Aliens Region. How may I help you? Said a voice on the line. This is Lieutenant Inko Midoriya, number 755789. Inko said, all serious and official, as the person on the other line gasps. Lieutenant? I thought that you retired and would never come back. That's been changed. Listen, I need you to get me Magister Patelade and tell him that the Omnitrix has been found and I know where it is, and also tell him to recall Agent N23 to service. Inko finished speaking her mind and plan. Yes, ma'am, the operator said as the call ended, and Inko rubs her head, trying to relax her head. I hope that he'll agree to this, as I know he is a very busy person. Especially since I've never seen who or what he looks like, she said as she looks to the window. Izuku was now on a train heading to school and stares at the watch on his wrist. He sighs and pulls out his phone and headphone and goes to the music store to see if there were new songs out. He scrolls down his screen until he saw a new song out called Ben 10 by Imitator Tots. He clicked on it and it started to play. It started when an alien device did what it did. It stuck itself upon his wrist with secrets that it hid. Now he's got superpowers, he's no ordinary kid. He's Ben 10. Izuku got off the train and was now running to school. he passes a few people and heroes on the way. So if you see him, you might be in for a big surprise. He'll turn into an alien before your very eyes. He's slimy, creepy, fast and strong. He's every shape and size. He's Ben 10. I wonder who is this Ben 10, anyway, since those guys put him in the song. Izuku, as he was now close to his school. Armed with powers, he's on the case. Fighting off evil from Earth or space. He'll never stop till he makes them pay. 'Cause he's the baddest kid to ever save day. Izuku was now at his school and was running at his new top speed to the classroom because the bell was about to ring. Ben 10. 1, 2, 3. Ben 10. 4, 5, 6. Ben 10. 7, 8, 9. Ben 10. Izuku made it with a few seconds to spread as he entered the room. He was greeted either with glares from his classmates, or some just ignored his presence. Izuku walked to his desk and sat down and waited for the teacher to come. He took out a notebook on heroes and started to scribble on it. He was scribbling on the All Might page in it, but his notebook was taken away from his hands. He looked up to see who took it and saw Bakugo and a few students with him as the ash blonde had the notebook in his hand. Deku, what did I tell you before? Stop trying to be a hero and go die like a little bug that you are, said Bakugo with the class laughing at the poor boy. Izuku ducks from the laughing as if they were bullets. Okay, Kaken. Nice joke, but please, can I have my book? Asked Izuku while stretching his arm to take the book back, but Bakugo just moves the book away from Izuku further from him, making Izuku reach further for it. While this was going on, Bakugo noticed something black and big on Izuku's left wrist. He rushes toward the green bunny's wrist and grabs it and pulls the school uniform sleeve down. He sees something that looked a wristwatch with a square faceplate, and it had a white and green color scheme. The faceplate is black with 2 green stripes forming an outline for the hourglass. Deku, what the fuck is this? He said, showing the device to the students who saw it. It's a watch. Izuku trying not to expose the fact that the thing on his wrist was not a watch. A watch? What kind of fucked up watch looks like this? I can't even tell the damn time. Where the fuck did you buy this shit, Deku? Asked Bakugo, interested to know why the damn nerd got something like this. I bought it from a site from Sweden, Izuku said nervously, scared that Bakugo was going to find out about the watch's true origin, but ha ha ha. Man, you got robbed out of your money. Man, are you stupid or what? Actually, don't answer that since you bought that ugly-looking watch. Man, what a loser to buy that watch. Most of the students in the class were laughing at the boy for buying a useless watch that not only looked ugly but also was useless since it can't tell you the time. Looks like you got fucked over, Deku. The watch suits you, thought, since it's useless just like you. Bakugo said, letting go for Izuku's wrist, and laughs with the class at the boy. Soon the teacher walked in and the class was soon underway, but Izuku wasn't focused on it since he kept looking at the watch from time to time. Time. 15:15 p.m. The school day ended and the students were all leaving the school, either for school club activities or for fun, but Izuku was happy for 2 reasons. 1. To leave the school that beat the crap out of him, and 2. He had a person to meet up with. He quickly got his things and ran out of the classroom at new fast speeds thanks to his training. He was near the door that led to the front gate and he opened it, but he was pulled from the back of his collar and thrown to the ground. He groans at the pain of the rough fall and looks up to see who did that, and saw that Bakugo and a few guys from different classes were standing over him, and they didn't look too happy to see him. Well, looky here, boys. If it isn't our old friend Deku. Were you rushing off to huh? Asked one of the boys in the group as he had rocks on his head. And in no way, Izuku said nervously to the boys. Oh, you're in a rush since you were running out of the school. So where you off to? Asked demeaned one boy who had long fingers to Izuku. Izuku turned away, not wanting to answer the question as he knew that it'll lead to trouble, but the boys took Izuku's silence the wrong way. Oh, so you think that you don't want to tell us we'd leave you alone? Ha, fat chance. Yelled the rock-haired boy to Izuku. Yeah, I say we teach him a lesson on how to respond to his superiors, right, Bakugo? The long-fingered boy said as he and the rest start to crack their knuckles while Bakugo stared at Izuku. Yeah, why not? It's been a while since I've punched my punching bag, so I need to see if I still got it, Bakugo said as his hands starts to crackle and have smoke coming off them. Izuku knew that the boys were going to beat him up again, so he had 2 options. Run away and hide somewhere and hope that the boys will lose him. Use the watch and transform into that fire creature and fight the boys off. But with those 2, he saw the cons of them. The first one, he'd need to have a head start to not only that, he'd need to find a great spot to hide and hope that they'll leave him, but every time he did that plan, they would find his hiding spot easily, and he knew that if he used the watch, then questions would be asked and he'll be in trouble. Izuku slowly placed his left arm behind his back and slowly moving his right arm to the watch and hoped that his crazy plan would work. The boys were creeping to their prey, and as they were close to the boy, a miracle happened. Hey, what are you doing to that kid? The boys and Izuku turn to the owner of the voice and see a very skinny man with sharp, angular features and long limbs. His neck long and his eyebrows absent, and he had short messy blonde hair with two long blonde tufts hanging over his head. To the boys, they were disgusted to see this half-dead guy looking at them, but to Izuku, he knew who this guy was. All Might. Izuku cheered mentally as his mentor had come to his rescue. Hey old man. Go die somewhere else, 'cause we're kind of busy here, so fuck off, said Bakugo as he and the boys were about to attack Izuku, thinking that this guy would leave since he was outnumbered, but they stopped their pursuit to Izuku when they heard bing. The boys turned to see the same guy was still there but had his phone out and the phone's flash was on. The guy looks from his phone to the boys as he saw they turned to him once again. Oh, don't mind me. Continue your attempt to beat up a kid and I'll record it and post it online since it looks like you guys do this often when no one's around, the man said while recording on his phone as the boys looked at each other, trying to see what to do next. Bakugo then started to walk away while confused the other boys. Hey man, where you going? Asked the long-fingered boy seeing Bakugo leaving them. Home. I'm not risking my chance to get in UA to beat up Deku and have it online, Bakugo said while the other boys' eyes shrank, understanding that if the video got out, their reputations were dead. They run away, leaving the boy and man behind. Izuku got up and ran to All Might and bowed. Thanks for the save, All Might, Izuku said with All Might smiling at him. Oh, it was nothing, young Midoriya. Hey All Might. Were you really recorded? No. I was using my phone's flashlight to make those boys think that I was recording, All Might said, showing his phone wasn't even recording. Izuku laughed a bit, thinking that the guys were doped like that. So why are you here, All Might? Well, I thought that you'd like a ride to UA so we can figure out about that strange watch on your wrist, All Might said with Izuku nodding, understand the logic to his decision. The two get to All Might's pickup truck and they drive to their destination. The ride was silent, but it wasn't awkward. Izuku starts to see a huge building with glass on it with huge walls closing it from to the public. Young Midoriya, welcome to UA High School, All Might with a smile seeing his students' excitement. He turns and drives through the gate and goes into the school grounds. The two get out of the car and soon walk to the main building. They enter the building while Izuku was shaking while walking, which was understandable as he was now walking inside the building of the school he wants to go to for most of his life. They continue to walk through the building until they reach a room with a sign on the door which said, Development Studio. They enter the room and Izuku was surprised to see what was in it. The room is filled with various tools, materials, and machinery used for what looked to be for costume development. Izuku looked around and saw someone who was under a huge machine. Hey Power Loader. I'm here and I've bought the kid, All Might said with the person stops working under the machine and stands up. Izuku's eyes widen and sparkles as he's seeing the person in front of him. This person was a man who's a short, skinny man who looked young. He had spiky ginger hair, reaching just past his shoulders, and dull blue eyes, as well as a notably large mouth. His hands appear to be the largest part of his body, as he has an orange L-shaped piece at the end of each finger. His hero costume consists of a large yellow helmet in the shape of a rectangular excavator claw, the top piece of which protruding outwards to cover his head and most of his face, and the bottom piece left to act as something of a long jaw guard. He leaves himself shirtless and also wears a pair of large, fingerless gray gloves with metal guards that extend down his arms, as well as a pair of plain cyan pants. This was the excavation hero Power Loader. Izuku stares at him and watched the hero look at him, staring at him. So this is the kid you and Nizu told me about? Power Loader asked All Might, in which he nodded. Power Loader stared down to Izuku and watched him. Izuku was sweating from the stare from the pro hero in front of him as it was too much for him to handle. Izuku was about to speak but Power Loader beat him to it. Alright, follow me, the pro hero said with Izuku following him behind with All Might close behind them. They walk deeper into the studio until they reach a chair in the middle of a section of the studio. Power Loader turned to Izuku. Alright kid, sit down and we'll start, Power Loader said with Izuku nodding slowly at the weird request but follows it. He sits down on the chair and metal claws go over his legs, arms and chest except his left wrist where the watch was. Izuku was startled at the feeling of his limbs being trapped by the iron claws. Relax kid. This is to ensure that you don't move too much while I look at your watch, Power Loader said while grabbing a red chair that was nearby. Izuku then nods, understanding the reason to the claws. Power Loader then nods and takes out various tools and equipment to work with and looks over the strange device. Over 35 minutes passed and All Might was sitting near Izuku, reading a newspaper while Izuku was bored out of his mind. The two were brought back from their own state when they heard Power Loader sighing. They turned and their eyes were wide as they saw a few tools were on the floor and damaged while something was shooting a laser over the device. Power Loader rubs his head under his helmet and turned to the two. The machine shooting the laser over the device stopped and the claws on Izuku's chair retraced, releasing Izuku from the chair. "It's just like I thought," Power Loader said with irritation in his voice, while the One for All and maybe soon-to-be One for All users look at the excavation hero in confusion, wondering what made him like this. "What's wrong?" "The watch is the problem. I can't get it off him." "What do you mean you can't take it off?" "Well, for starters, the component used to construct the main piece, meaning the body and faceplate, is made of a metal alloy, something out of this world. It's rubber-like, yet it's dense, so dense that you can't break it off with any known weapon, but its molecular structure is something that I can't pinpoint. The thing's indestructible. The energy detected in it is so powerful, it could light up the whole world in one go, and the effect of it could last of decades. The thing is locked to his DNA, so if I took it off him without some sort of key or code key or some other way like chopping his arm off, it'd kill him." Power Loader finished his explanation as the two were shocked that Izuku might be stuck with the thing on his wrist for life. "So, I can't take it off without either cutting off my arm or killing me," Izuku said, affired at his new fate. "Yep. Sorry kid, I tried my best. I've been up since last night when All Might came and brought the pod that the watch came in, and I've never seen anything like it. Plus, if I tried to hack it, I think I'd kill not only us, but the whole planet in the process if I make one wrong move." Power Loader as they looked at the watch, a watch that held so much power. Izuku sighed and fell back to the chair and starts to cry. Why do bad things happen to me? What am I going to do?" Izuku said, trying to figure out this new monkey wrench in his road to being a hero. "Train," All Might said, catching Izuku's attention. "What?" "Train young Midoriya. We saw what this watch can do, it gave you powers. Such it was temporary, but I saw that the watch could help you big time." All Might with confidence in his voice. Midoriya is in awe with All Might's words. "And, let's not forget that you still have to train your own body to make it suitably and fit to use of the thing," All Might said, sending the hidden message to Izuku. "Right, All Might," Izuku said with determination as he was not scared anymore about his future. "Alright, now since we won't be about to make back to the beach and train for today, and seeing that we're at UA, let's train here and test out the watch," All Might said. "Right?" Izuku going serious. "Alright, I'll show you to the boys' locker so you can get changed into your gym gear and then take you to one of the gyms here where me and some of the teachers can supervise you and watch the training." Power Loader, "Can you get the teachers who are available and Nizu to come and see this?" All Might asked to the mechanical hero, who nodded. The two leave the studio as they walk through the hallways to one of the locker rooms. Izuku goes in and gets changed from his school uniform to a red t-shirt, black shorts, and his red high tops. After getting changed, Izuku exits the room and follows All Might to a gym which was huge. They entree it and see that it was a large and enclosed space with nothing in it. Izuku looked around and saw a few people in the gym already. One of them was a man who appeared to be a humanoid block of cement with black eyes and gray hair tied into a short ponytail. His body shape was evenly blocky all around his body. His eyes were generally closed and his lips were pulled upwards. He was wearing something that consists of a sleeveless brown suit that includes yellow stripes, shorts, and an elongated collar. He was also sporting gray shoes with yellow soles. There was a woman next to the man who was tall and curvaceous. She had sky-blue eyes, which tilt downwards in the center, framed by a set of rather long eyelashes. She had abundant spiky dark purple hair which is made up of layers of varying lengths, the longest ones reaching down below her waist. Her chin-length bangs that were split into 3 sections. 2 swept to the sides and 1 over her face, going diagonally down to the left between her eyes. She also had a small mole under her left eye, as well as red-painted nails. She was wearing something made Izuku blush. She was wearing something that was similar to one of a traditional dominatrix. She was wearing a black leather breastless leotard over a white bodysuit, which emphasizes her breasts, body, and legs, the leotard possessing red gemstone-like accessories in a vertical pattern from the collar to the midriff. She also wears translucent black thigh-high stockings that are connected to her utility belt, and black knee boots. She had a small, red mask outlining her eyes, a handcuff on each wrist, and a red utility belt decorated with gold studs around her hips, a matching pentagonal buckle in its center. Izuku turned away from her and saw a man leaning on the wall. He was a tall and slim man with long blonde hair, which he made it spike upwards in a huge tuft behind his head, and a small mustache. He had rectangular eyes with concentric greenish-yellow pupils, and he was smiling or grinning. He was wearing something that consists of a black jacket with a very tall collar, upturned and complete with studs, and matching black pants and knee-high boots. He was sporting tan shoulder pads and a red belt and elbow pads, all studded, and black fingerless gloves. He had something around his neck. It was a directional speaker, and he had a pair of headphones with the word Hage written on the headband, and a pair of orange-tinted shades. He then looked around and saw two short people or things standing next to each other. First was a short, elderly woman with gray hair styled into a netted bun with a large syringe poking diagonally out of it to the left. She had a notably small nose and eyes looked like two little dashes, and a long mouth with defined nasolabial folds. She was wearing a doctor's lab coat and a dress with yellow and red vest-like designs on either side, 2 yellow buttons, and a belt with a pink R-shaped buckle, had pink boots and a helmet which was around the sides of her head, a purple-tinted visor joining it over her eyes. In addition, she had a cane designed like a syringe. Next to her was a short man who appeared to be a possible combination of several different animals, including a dog, a mouse, and a bear, which would make him a chimera. He had the head of a mouse with circular black eyes, with a large scar over the right one, relatively square-shaped ears with pale pink insides slanting outwards from the top of his head, and an elongated muzzle with a small round nose. His fur was white and had large, dog-like paws with pink pads and a thin tail like that of a cat. He was wearing a white dress shirt, a dark red tie around his neck, a black double-breasted waistcoat, and matching dress pants. He also wore orange lace-up sneakers with incredibly thick soles which seemed to be quite large on him, would look just like Izuku's high tops. These people in order were the staff and teachers of UA. Cementos, the 18-plus only hero, Midnight, the voice hero, Present Mike, the youthful heroine, Recovery Girl, and finally the principal of U, Nizu. So, this is the boy who you talked about in the meeting, All Might, the rat-slash-dog-slash-bear-slash-man thing said, looking at Izuku, who was shaking from excitement and nervousness. Yes, everyone, please meet Izuku Midoriya. All Might introduced the boy to his new co-workers. PP pleased to meet you, Izuku said as he bows to the heroes. Whoa there, kid. No need for that, Present Mike said, surprised by the kid's sudden bow. Sorry, said Izuku as he rubs his head shyly. Oh, he's so adorable. Shy and cute, Midnight cooed as she watched Izuku. Ha ha ha. Thanks, Izuku, not sure to feel great or scared by her words. So why are we here, All Might? Cementos asked. Well, we're here to watch young Midoriya. Here shows us his quirk, since it has a few things that are amazing, All Might said, with some of the staff looking at Izuku with one eyebrow raised as they eye him down as they were not impressed by him. Nizu stares down Izuku as he looks at him secretly, but his eyes go wide when his eyes land on that device on Izuku's left wrist. Is that? Could it be? Nizu thought while looking at the watch. Alright, since I got nothing better to do since Aizawa is out on a patrol, I'm game, Present Mike said, with the rest shrugging their shoulders as they thought that this kid could give them a show. Nizu was still looking at the watch with a calculating stare at it, which All Might noticed. Sir, are you alright? All Might said, with the rest looking down to their booze as he shakes his head. Yes, I'm alright. Now, Mr. Midoriya, if you could show us your quirk, if you could, Nizu said as he walks to the wall with the other staff members following him, leaving Izuku in the middle of the gym. Izuku swallows a bulge in his throat as he was in front of people. The nervous were getting to him. He was going to break out there and pass out until he saw All Might giving him a thumbs up. Izuku swallowed another bulge again and went to the watch. He remembered that from last night. He placed 2 fingers on the faceplate, which something to appear over it, and activated it. He placed his fingers on the faceplate, which caused a green circle to appear out of the watch. He saw the face of the fire creature from last night and took his fingers off the faceplate. The faceplate slid down and the button with the hourglass pop up. He lifts his right hand and hits the button, causing a green flash to appear which lit the whole gym up. The teachers had to close their eyes to protect them from the bright light. Veins start to appear on Izuku's wrist from the watch and course from it as the watch goes into his body. The veins continue to course up Izuku's arm and spread through his body. The veins reach his face and go to his left eye as he closes it. He opens it again, but instead for his normal eye, it's turned completely green. 2 more arms shoot out of Izuku as he grows in size, as his skin starts to turn red as his hair disappears. Izuku then flexes his arms and poses before the light dies. The teachers open their eyes as the flash stops. They look to the place where Izuku was, and all were shocked to see a humanoid that was over 12 feet tall. Had well-developed muscles, 2 pairs of 4-fingered arms, and red skin. He had a black stripe goes from his chin to his lower lip, and he has 4 eyes. A main pair, and a smaller pair below them, and 4 freckles on his cheeks. He was wearing the same red t-shirt that Izuku was wearing, but had black pants on, and fingerless gloves on his 4 hands. He had the device's faceplate on his upper left shoulder. Young Midoriya? Is that you? All Might asked, surprised by the new form that was in front of him. Yeah, I think so, Izuku said in a mature and deep voice. He looked down to see that he changed but not to the form that he intended and that he now had two more set of arms. Whoa, who's this guy? I thought that I hit on the flaming guy, Izuku said while checking himself out. What the hell is that? Where's the kid? Present Mike asked while his shades were barely on his nose as it was nearly going to fall off his face. I think that is the kid, Midnight said, stunned from seeing such an event in front of her. Just as I thought, this young man has the rumored Omnitrix. And judging from his reaction from the transformation, he just got it. So let's test him out, Nizu thought. All Might, I want to see if he can use this quirk for his to good use, Nizu said, catching the attention for everyone in the gym. And how will you test him, sir? All Might asked as he had no way for showing Izuku's new ability. I have just the way, Natsu said as he pulls out a remote and two buttons on it. He pushed one of the buttons and 20 robots appeared out of the floor, 10 one-pointers and 10 two-pointers, and surround Izuku. Now, Mr. Midoriya, I want you to fight and destroy these robots around you in 2 minutes, Nizu said, which shocked Izuku, All Might and the rest of the staff at the time limit. 2 minutes, but I can't fight all these robots in that short time. Izuku, afraid at the time given to him. Yes, sir, at least give him more time, All Might said, trying to save his successor from humiliation. No, I want to see if he can do it. Oh, and Midoriya, Nizu said as he pulled the remote out again. Yes, these robots are armed and are set to kill, Nizu said as he pushed the second button and the robot's eyes turned dark red and lasers from their weapons point to Izuku. Target acquired, one of the robots said as it points its gun to Izuku's chest before firing one of its missiles and hits Izuku as the missile sends him flying to the wall and explode. Nizu, what have you done? Present Mike shouted as he and the rest were shocked and scared that their boss just killed someone. I'm just watching him fight, Nizu said calmly as he was unfazed from the explosion. But you just killed that poor boy, Recovery Girl said, as she knew that taking a missile from point-blank range was an instant kill. Did I? Nizu asked, which confused the rest. They hear some groans and rumble and turn to the wall that Izuku was sent to and were surprised to see Izuku was fine and only had some black marks on his chest. He cleans himself of rubble before he sees a red dot on his chest. He looks up and sees the robots taking aim again. He gets mad from it. Alright, if you want some of me, Izuku said before he jumped in the air, which to the shock of everyone except Nizu, Izuku jumps high in the air as he reached the ceiling of the gym. Come get some, Izuku shouted as he puts his top arms together and smashed the ground as he lands in the middle of the robots. The smash caused the ground to break and a shock wave to come from Izuku as the building shook from it. Cementos had to make a high platform to keep him and the rest safe from the fight. Izuku got up and saw a few robots were rushing him. He threw a punch at one of them and punched it into a few other robots behind him as it exploded, which caused a chain reaction of explosions. Some robots from behind shot a couple of bullets which bounced off Izuku as he turned around and grabbed one of the robots and crushed it with all of his arms into a ball. After he crushed the robot, he threw it into the rest where either damaged them into commission or explode. Izuku saw one jump in the air and fall towards him. He dodged it and grabbed its leg. He then started to spin around as the last ones start to rush towards him, which was a mistake as Izuku used the one he had as a battering ram and smashed the rest of them. After he rammed the last one, he threw the one he had into the air and waited for it to fall. As it fell back to the ground, Izuku punched it in its chest and the fist went through it. He pulled the fist out of the dead robot's chest and turned to the staff. Nizu was holding his phone and pressed it as he saw Izuku staring at him. Is that all you got? Izuku asked as Nizu grinned as he saw the time on his phone. 1 minute and 45 seconds. This kid surprised me, Nizu thought as he and the rest of the teachers saw the battleground and saw Izuku was the last one standing. And that's a wrap on part 2, folks. If you haven't seen the earlier parts yet, make sure to visit the playlist. A huge shout out to the author. Don't forget to show your support. I'll be back soon. Thanks for tuning in.